So I want to talk about the difference between performative mindset and compatibility mindset. So performative mindset is what most dating advice is centered around. It's this idea of turning connecting into a game, into a sport. This idea of if I just say and do all the right things, then they're going to like me. And it's like a performance versus a compatibility mindset, which I'm going to explain in this video. Let's talk a little bit about why the performative mindset doesn't work. The biggest thing is a lot of the time there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between the lines, the tactics they're getting you to use, and how you're actually feeling underneath, who you actually are underneath. This is why, like, some of the stuff that might be taught, it might sound good, but then you actually go out and do it and you're like, whoa, that was fucking weird. Like, for example, they might teach you lines like push pull, like say like you're cute, but I think you're trouble. And then like you go out there and you say that and you're like, well, that just felt weird. That wasn't me. Or maybe you just end up in these interactions and instead of actually enjoying yourself and being present, you're just like in your head thinking about the next thing. And in theory, it sounds good, but then you go out and try it and it's almost like it makes you worse. And then maybe you've had times where you realize like, you didn't even give a fuck. You were just out having fun, enjoying yourself, and everything just went super well. So that's what you might have experienced. And that's what I've seen time and time again coaching men over the last 5.5 years. Now, the other reason why the performative mindset doesn't work is because, think about it this way, you're actually supplicating. So it's creating more neediness. Like you're actually thinking, what can I do and say to try to get them to like me? Versus, do I actually like them? Are they compatible with me? It's a very different thing. And so it ends up making you this kind of needy, performative character. And it can make you very kind of weird too. Because instead of being attuned to what they're feeling, what's going on for them, what's going on inside of you, instead of having that inner sort of knowing and awareness and intuition and natural sense of how to do things, you're kind of throwing that out the window and you're dating from up here. You're dating from your head. And so it can be very disconnected. And the thing is, even if you do learn to do it well, like as a skill, it's going to be very misaligned. Like you're going to end up forcing connections with people that aren't even compatible. It's not going to be fulfilling. It's going to feel empty. It's just not going to feel good. And so no one really wins in the end. Even if you learn that skill, it's just not fulfilling. And a lot of women who are more confident, high self-esteem are going to see through what you're doing and they're going to feel the underlying intentions. So anyway, that's a bit on why it ultimately fails. Let's talk about what the compatibility mindset is. So the compatibility mindset is one where instead of thinking, what can I do and say to get them to like me? You're operating from a paradigm of what is true for me and am I acting in alignment with that? And there's almost like this trust of if you're acting in alignment with who you are, with what you want, with what you're about, that you will connect with the right people. And the wrong people will actually be repelled by you. And that's actually a good thing. So when you take on this compatibility mindset, you no longer care about rejection. In fact, you don't even see rejection as rejection. Something I often tell my clients is there's no such thing as rejection, only incompatibility. And so that's how you start to see it. And because of that, you don't have that neediness anymore. You're way more comfortable, you're way more confident because you're like, hey, if this doesn't pan out, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It just means there wasn't alignment. And it becomes very effortless, right? It's like you don't even have to try anymore. But that said, most guys don't know how to date in alignment with who they are, with what they want. They don't even know who they are. They don't even know what they want. And so that's when the real work begins. It's actually a lot deeper than most people realize, and it's going to affect every area of your life if you learn how to do that. And for those of you who are familiar with the book No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover, you really start to understand that the performative mindset in most dating advice is actually another manifestation of the nice guy syndrome. Even pickup, even if it seems like it's kind of tough and alpha and all that kind of stuff, it's actually still the nice guy syndrome because you're still trying to perform. You're still trying to get validation, still trying to get approval. And so there's a whole process of rewiring that has to happen to be able to transition out of the performative mindset into the compatibility mindset. You have to literally unwire all of the things you're currently doing that you don't really want to do, that aren't really in alignment with you, that you're just doing to try to impress, to try to get approval. So that's the first step, is you need to stop doing those behaviors that aren't in alignment. And then the next step is actually doing that identity work of figuring out who you are, what you want, and learning how to express truthfully in the moment. And this is something I work on a lot with my clients, where I get them to interact with models and I start to get them to really tap into this. I teach them an entirely different way of connecting. I teach them to go from just thinking in their head, from just treating things like a game, to actually connecting. And there's quite a few different things involved, and it's too much for me to explain in one video. But one thing I could tell you is it starts with eye contact. And this is something that you guys can try right now. It's just the next time you're interacting with a woman, look in her left eye, hold the gaze, relax, slow down. And two things you can ask yourself to help you get more so into that state of compatibility and connection versus performance and trying to win a game is two things. What am I feeling right now? What do I genuinely want to express? If I wasn't concerned with trying to get the validation, if I wasn't trying to get the approval, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to express? What would be enjoyable for me to express, regardless of the outcome? What might be fun even? But even if not fun, it's just like, what's enjoyable? If you look at why we even date or connect with other people in general, why is it? It's to express ourselves. It's to have fun. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. It's the joy of expressing and connecting with another human being. You being able to express yourself and them being able to express, and you being able to take them in and listen to them and enjoy their presence. That's what it's actually about. It's not a game. It's not a performance. And so that's the first thing. What do you want to express genuinely? What would be enjoyable for you to express? What's truthful for you? That's the first thing. And now the second thing to ask yourself is, what do you want to know about them? Because it's not all about you. It's also about your connection with them. What are you genuinely intrigued with about them? Like, what do you actually want to know? Most guys are so fixated on just a woman's looks and that they're not even considering what they actually want to know as a person. They're so fixated with just trying to win the game that they're not even trying to connect. They're not even asking themselves, what do they genuinely want to know? And so if you can ask yourself these two things and start bringing that into interactions, you're going to see a big difference in the way you connect. And what you're going to start to notice is having this mindset is going to make you more present. Because to do these two things, to be aware of what are you really wanting to express right now, what do you really want to know about them right now in this moment, it's going to force you to have to be present with yourself and present with them, which is ultimately what they want in the most attractive quality that you can actually possess. If you're in Sydney, then I would highly recommend coming to my workshop. I'm going to be giving a talk, and there's also going to be a live professional model. And those who attend are going to get the opportunity to practice with the model, to get feedback from her and also myself. So highly recommend coming to that. And for those of you who aren't in Sydney, you aren't in Australia, I also run what I call practice dates, which you can find out more about in the description as well. Pretty much this is a simulated date. I do them both online, obviously in person as well for those in Sydney. But what this does is it gives you the opportunity to practice what I've talked about in this video for real, essentially going on a simulated date, getting feedback and coaching from women, from myself, correcting what you're doing in real time. So if that sounds interesting to you, then link for that is in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.